Hi, Roy here. Roy Reads Anything, a channel about eclectic reading, and going to talk about Spectral Sounds, Unquiet Tales of Acoustic Weird. And what I'm going to do is tell you 10 things I love about this book. Okay, and I'm not going to hold it up because I'm not. Holding books up that's old news. I'll edit one in so you can see what the cover looks like, which is very lovely. So, 10 things I love about Spectral Sounds. Well, one, it's a cool theme. Okay, so it's a collection of supernatural, uncanny, strange stories. Sound is the theme, how auditory presences are disturbing, which if you think about it makes sense because our hearing is it's our kind of early warning system. So it really is how sort of things that are going to make the hairs stand up on our neck will come to us often. So great theme. You could think these themes are maybe getting a little bit abstract, but not happened yet. So yeah, cool theme. In this very room, we once had tiny little field mice were munching away at the plasterboard stroke drywall inside the cavity, and some freak amplification of the sound made them sound like giant uncanny monsters. I couldn't believe it when I finally in the humane traps found these little tiny things. Anyway, yes, that was number one. Number two, the range of stories includes some excellent, what I would call conventional ghost stories. Okay, so these are stories in the collection. I guess they go from Victorian through to early 20th century times. So when I say conventional, I don't sort of mean necessarily staid and formulaic, just that they're following genre conventions. Not every story is going to be like something you can't possibly conceive of. Sometimes there's a haunted house and it's haunted because somebody died there. What's the pleasure of this kind of story for me is partly how authors come up with new ways to make that fresh and interesting, and also just how it might be just be one phrase or one aspect of how the supernatural manifestation happens that just gives it that creepy edge. So, conventional tales, but also number three, I love this book for having some completely out there, almost impossible to describe texts. Okay, so in particular, MP Shields' The House of Sounds is just amazing. For a start, it's not about creepy little sounds and presences, it's about being overwhelmed by massive sound in an amazingly described building and landscape that is just fantastic. So yeah, the range stretches, I guess, from the conventional to the completely mind-blowing. Number four, I love this collection because it has an uncanny story about an organ. I don't mean a bodily organ, although that would be kind of cool, but a like a church organ, a pipe organ, which, if you think about it, are intrinsically scary things. You know, the pipes go off into the strange shadowy heights of where they are. No one really knows how they work. They make these strange sounds. And the story, The Haunted Organist of Hurly Burley by Rosa Mulholland, it's dark, it's creepy, it's compelling, fantastic. So, yes, organ. Number five, I learned something from the book. So, this collection, like all others in the series, has a kind of scholarly introduction and introduction to each of the stories. And one thing I'm learning more and more, I guess, is how esoteric philosophies like spiritualism and theosophy seem to be in the background of a lot of these stories, either because that's what the authors believed, or that's what was in the ether, as it were, and they knew that their readers would be responsive to those kind of ideas. Number 6, the editor, Manon Burz-Labrande, has what sounds to me like the best job in the world. So I'm loving editor's job, which is Manon Burz-Labrande is a researcher based at the University of Vienna who specialises in the content, history and literary influence of penny bloods and penny dreadfuls, which just sounds fantastic. There's a whole vast world of undiscovered, forgotten texts of that in that penny dreadful category that are just just viewed as being trash. It must be amazing to be researching them in depth and discovering things about them. Right then, so the 6 things I've told you so far. Number 7, it has a story by Edith Wharton. Edith Wharton has a story in this called The Lady Maid's Bell, which is, it's dark, it's tragic, it's ambivalent, great stuff. And apparently, despite being famous for other things, she wrote loads and loads of supernatural tales, so that's good. Number 8, it has a story by Florence Marryat, an author who I'm interested in. Did a video about her Facing the Footlights book a while ago, talking about the what I called the ghostly traces of the inscriptions in the book. That's a novel set in the world of actors and drama. I've also got one of her books about spiritualism called There Is No Death. So great to see another Florence Marryat story coming my way. And which one was it? Florence, where are you? Oh, it's the first one, The Invisible Tenants of Rushmere, which is an action-packed haunting story. There's 4 sections in the book. First section, I heard a noise, sure enough, living with audible presences. Comes within that section. The other sections are, I had heard the words with painful distinctness, perceiving ghostly voices. Section 3 is, I jumped awake to the furious ringing of my bell, sonorous objects and haunting technology. And finally you get Sounds and Silence, acoustic weird beyond the ghostly. Number 9, another reason I love this book is it's part of the British Library Tales of the Weird series, which I've done stuff about before. Great series. They look beautiful. They're always interesting. The introductions and the way they include relatively frequently anthologized writers, but also what it calls on the back of this one, haunting obscurities from the British Library collections, means there's always going to be something unexpected within these books, so it's great to get another one. And finally, the 10th and final reason I love this book is on the last page you get a picture of a human ear. Okay, thank you very much.